right, guys, welcome back to the Downtown Rams podcast. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co host, Jake Ellenbogen, and we are continuing our 2022 NFL Draft Prospect interviews. And joining us right now on the show, we have Blaise Andries, offensive line from the University of Minnesota. Blaise, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Really looking forward to talking to you guys.
Us as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on. We know you're really busy. And just to start this off, we kind of want to take it back to the beginning. What was it that got you into the game of football?
Just being in sports. We had a good neighborhood where I grew up down in Marshall, Minnesota. I grew up 2 blocks from Trey Lance, and I think out of our neighborhood we had like 71 guys out of for hockey, baseball, basketball, football, like just within like 2 blocks of us, and just basically spending time with those guys and playing as many sports as we can together. So, yeah.
Sounds like you had a ton of talent all around you. That's pretty crazy. Growing up, did you have a favorite NFL player?
Favorite player? I don't know. I feel like when I was growing up, I was in the Brett Favre just came over from the Packers to the Vikes, and I was a hometown Vikes fan, and they made that run for it, but they lost to the Saints. Was it 2008? I want to say. So yeah, that was a tough one on me as a kid. But yeah, just all in all, I was a huge fan of just watching NFL football with the family and friends.
For sure. And this is kind of a little off topic, but in regards to Minnesota, because you're from Minnesota, do you know where Leech Lake is?
Leech Lake. I've heard of that. I think that's up in a little bit north of the cities, right?
Yeah, it's like by Walker. It's like 45 minutes from Bemidji.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like really north.
Mhm.
My parents have a lake house there, so I'm there like all the time. So I
Yeah.
figured I would just ask you. It's quite a drive from where I'm at. It's like an 8-hour drive that I make a lot. I'm in Chicago. But I
Mhm.
was like, I wonder if he knows where that is because it is kind of like in a obscure part of Minnesota. I think there's not much around.
Yeah.
Um, but I love Minnesota. Definitely have a soft spot for Minnesota. Love it up there.
Mhm.
And you ended up staying in Minnesota for college, which
I
leads into my
did.
next question. What was the main factor for you in choosing to play at Minnesota?
So that's I think the first thing and foremost is they were the closest team to home, and I was able to get to know the people a lot more because of that. So they kind of had an unfair advantage. And then another thing is my teammate from high school, Drew Himaleski. He played some receiver at Minnesota, and he was a year older than me. So every time I'd go up and visit campus, I'd have a place to stay. I'd stay in his dorm or whatever, and then I'd be able to get to know all the guys from that. It's really just get to know the program in and out. And so they had a real unfair advantage with that. But I loved the people, and I loved my future teammates, and I was real excited to get the ball rolling with them.
Now, for incoming potential recruits to Minnesota, I mean, what would you say if you had to pitch them why they should go there and play there?
Okay, so the number one thing is Coach Fleck's culture. Like, does you do the right thing all the time? Things in the dark will come to the light eventually. So you can't be doing wrong things because sometimes people will just get unlucky, right, and like get caught in the wrong moments. But I mean, if you're doing the right thing all the time, then you should never have that problem. So that's for parents. Like your kid's going to be held accountable to first of all get good grades, graduate, and second of all, do the right thing. And then on the football side of things, the last couple of years, like 3 years back in 2019, we were 11-2. Last year we were 9-4. And I think the program's really on an up and up spiral, and we've been playing for the Big Ten West every single year. So it's really been good football, and the West is really competitive. Might be one of the most competitive divisions in college football, honestly. And then, yeah, I mean, for an offensive lineman, we need the in-state offensive lineman to stay home because Coach Callie is obviously the best O-line coach I know, but also like he cares for his offensive linemen, and he's shown that he's had a ton of success in developing talent and really just getting guys to the league if that's what they want, and basically just having people reach their best potential.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point about the competition that you play at Minnesota, because that leads into my next question, which was going to be, is there one guy or maybe two guys that you went up against in college, played against, on an opposing team or in practice even, that kind of stand out to you as being like the toughest guy that you went against, like just guys that you were like, wow, this guy's the real deal?
Yeah. Okay. So I would say the toughest guy I faced this last year, and I tell the scouts this, whenever they ask and everything, was Leo Chanel. I got a lot of respect for the Wisconsin linebacker. He shut down our outside zone play for 3 quarters until we started running inside zone, and we're finally able to get the ball moving a little bit more against Wisconsin this last year. But the dude's fast, strong, and I actually worked out with him down in Exos at down in Phoenix at Exos. Sorry, but yeah, no, great guy. I think he'll do really well at the next level. And then fighting against Micah Parsons, me and him had a couple battles back and forth. We ran a tunnel screen, and I was able to block him running by the receiver, and we scored a touchdown on that. And the next time we ran it, he juked me a little bit, and he's like, "Not this time, man." So I thought that was pretty fun. Quiddy Pay was amazing. He had a sack on me late in the fourth, but yeah, it was amazing competition all around here in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to imagine it's going to make the next question pretty difficult for you. But do you have a favorite game in mind that stands out from your time in college?
Yeah. Two that really stick out, and both of them were at home. 2019, we played Penn State. We beat them. They stormed the field. I think it was like, I don't know, we were number like 17 in the nation, and they were number 4 or something like that. The last in on the college football playoff at the time. We beat them at home, and our fans stormed the field, and that was amazing. Because I think we were both 8-0 at the time, so that was pretty cool. And then this last year, we beat Wisconsin at home for the first time in years. I don't know. It might have been like 20-some years or 30-some years or something like that. So definitely trending on the uphill there.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like an amazing moment for sure. And speaking as an offensive lineman, what would you say, in your opinion, is the most important trait for an offensive lineman to have?
You got to be selfless. Really, you're not going to get any of the accolades, any of the media. You got to take pride in your running back getting player of the week or something like that, or just really having a good, clean game, keeping the quarterback's jersey clean, but just selfless and trust each other, playing 5 guys as one. And, if we're talking about actual blocking, you got to be mean. You got to have a little edge to you. You see plenty of nice guys, but they can be mean as soon as they step inside those lines, So.
I mean, you're right, because pretty much every offensive lineman we've ever interviewed is like the nicest guy, but then you watch him on the field and you're like, wow, you're a jerk. And that's the way you like it. It's like, as soon as you get on the field, you gotta be aggressive and be like complete polar opposite to what you are. That's the only time it's okay to be two-faced, But I gotta ask you, you as a player, Blaise, what would you say is your biggest strength?
Same thing scouts ask all the time. It's awesome. I would say my versatility and intelligence. What I tell teams is I can really play any position they want me to. If they want me to line up at tight end, I'll line up at tight end for them. They want me to line up at left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. I'll line up at any of them so long as I've practiced it. Never got a start at center. Coach Flex said if I come back for a 6th year, they'd give me a start at center. But I've taken snaps, and I've practiced my snaps during practice and whatnot, so I'm ready to go if I need that. but yeah, and then my intelligence, I was a math actuarial science major, master's in applied business analytics. So the math and everything makes sense. What is it? Some of the coaches tell me that the highest counting we'll need in football is you got to count to 5 for IDs purposes and whatnot. But I really take a lot of pride in my academics as well.
That's awesome. I definitely respect being good at math because I'm not.
Same.
I'm very math deficient. It was not my bright spot when I was in school for sure. But looking at as the draft approaches, is there anything specific that you're working on improving?
Yeah, just overall getting stronger, faster, more explosive. And once again, Exos, they did a great job, eating cleaner. One of my favorite quotes that they said is, fat doesn't fly. So like you're not going to be able to move as well with a bunch of fat as you would with a bunch of muscle. And they proved it because I dropped like 5% body fat in like 5 weeks or something like that. And yeah, I was able to go out there and perform, exceed everyone's expectations at the combine. And yeah, it was a really surreal moment, but basically working on that in general. And then on the football side of things, working on my footwork and pad level and everything.
And what would you say, going into the NFL, if there is one that stands out, what would you say would be the most exciting matchup that you could have in the NFL?
Oh, I mean, the best player in the league on defense right now is Aaron Donald, right?
Right answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an obvious question. I think I saw a graphic that said every single year he's been in the league, he's been a Pro Bowler every single year. I want to say he's been Defensive Player of the Year, like 3 times, and then he's been I don't know, he was Rookie of the Year too. Like he's quite literally probably the most dominant interior D lineman of all time. So that's yeah. I mean, congratulations. But
Yeah, he's a popular answer when we ask offensive linemen that question. If you want to go against the best, it's Aaron Donald for sure. But speaking of Aaron Donald, in the off season or during the season, excuse me, we do cover the Rams, and we ask every prospect that comes on our show, have you spoken to or had any contact with the Rams at all?
Oh yeah, so obviously at the Shrine Bowl we had all our interviews and everything, and the Rams and the Bengals were gone because they were a little busy, right? But here at the Combine, the Rams were there, and they might have been a step behind everyone else, whereas everyone else is asking us like, sort of like, here they teach us this play, and they want us to like see how intelligent we are teaching it back to them. We were just doing like base interviews. Tell me about your family, you growing up, and everything. But yeah, I talked to the Rams. One of the scouts, I can't remember his name exactly. If you guys saw the room, it was so chaotic. But yeah, I talked to them, and I talked to the Bengals too, and just basically caught up with those guys. But the thing I tell people about those interviews is they're so fun. Like I don't know, it's stressful, but it's really exciting just having a conversation with people and getting to know people basically. So yeah.
I'm with you. I enjoy doing these. And so, I enjoy asking questions. You enjoy answering them. That's a good combination there. Well, I want to ask a follow-up here because you mentioned the combine and you mentioned the Shrine Bowl. How were those experiences?
They were amazing. The Shrine Bowl treated us very well. It was very professional. Teams are basically trying to see how you handle high stress situations, right? So you're up early, you got a lot of meetings, you go to practice, and there's a scout from every team there. There's multiple, there was some GMs there and everything. Just a lot of people watching how you perform, how you move, and everything, and it's very high stress. And then after practice, you got to turn around and go do like 4 or 5 hours of interviews before more nightly meetings, and they're really just trying to build up the stress and see how you perform. And that was a little different from the combine where we're doing all the medical side of things. So like it's not as physically demanding as say a bowl game or whatever, but you're doing all the medical things and all the late interviews and everything. And they're trying to test your mental side of things now. And then at the end of a tough mental week, you go out there and can you physically perform? So I think both the experiences were awesome. You know, wouldn't change it, wouldn't change a thing. Just really, really enjoyed having the opportunity to be out there and, you know, talk to all the teams, get to perform with all the people I've been training with for the past couple of months. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's awesome to hear that those are good experiences. I mean, definitely sound like events that you won't ever forget, and big time experiences too. But to close us out, just in your own words, who is Blaise Andries as a person, and who is he as a player?
Okay. So as a person, I've never had a character issue. I don't stray from the path, really. Like, I guess I'm caring outside of football. I really I do the work. I show up on time. I'm never late. Never miss anything. Basically, just a real steady hand, I want to say. Loves problem solving. Loves critical thinking. But yeah, I mean, just overall, I'm here to work. But yeah, and then on the football field, I love, I think it was Joe Moore's quote, you know, moving a man from point A to point B against his will. So I really enjoy just, you know, dominating, right? You know, run blocking downhill on a guy, and just, you know, that guy doesn't want to be moved 3 yards downhill, but, you know, you're going to move him 3 yards downhill either way. You're going to move that line of scrimmage. Just overall being mean on the field and having fun with my teammates. Some of my favorite things.
And now just one last question, moving away from football for this last one. Can you recommend us a TV show and an album?
An album and a TV show. Okay. All right. TV show. Okay. So I'll get you into a Canadian TV show, a little Canadian comedy for up north here. Letterkenny is pretty funny.
Okay. I've heard good things about that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the shows me and my roommates, we watched all the way through. It's hilarious. I don't know. The humor is really weird. So, you know, it's a good one though.
We got weird humor.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, that's our favorite. I have heard really good things about that show.
Mm-hmm.
But an album, what's an album that you're listening to lately?
So my buddy Boye Mafe, he was just over, we were chatting up or whatever, and one of his friends had tickets to a Dua Lipa concert tonight. And I was like, you know, I should probably stay in. I gotta get up and train in the morning, right? So Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa is a pretty popular one right now. So
yeah. Yep, that is very popular. Both
I feel like I'm living
choices.
under a rock because I've never heard of him before.
Really? And yeah, he like, it's like, who is Dua Lipa? And I'm like, boy, man, like Dua Lipa, first of all.
Dua Lipa, she is like the radio queen right now. I feel like I hear her stuff everywhere. Yeah, definitely good choice. Letterkenny, I want to check out because I've heard good things about that. And I definitely get the weird humor. That's like my thing. So so I'm definitely down for that.
Northern.
Last question I'm going to ask, because so we've been asking albums, TVs, and I'm super nosy and I really like recommendations. So I'm always asking prospects like these weird questions. Do you have any snack recommendations?
So since I've been eating healthy, like I love my like snack of choice is like trail mix, but not the ones with like M&Ms or all the chocolate bites. Do the ones with like yogurt bites. Like
those are good. Yeah.
And then also I went to Cub Foods today. I couldn't find that, so I just settled for some cashews.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a big bag.
Yeah. I got all my healthy snacks.
Well, I know that they have these in Minnesota. So up in Walker, there's a town by Walker, and of course I'm not thinking of the name of it right now, but they have this like popcorn store. up like way up north in Minnesota, and they have the best like Chicago style popcorn, which I'm not
Okay.
sure if you're familiar with what that is, but it's caramel popcorn mixed with cheddar
Oh
in
yeah.
like a bag. And
So
I introduced it when Jake came and visited me in Chicago. I had him try it. Not from that place in Minnesota, unfortunately. They don't ship. But when I am in Minnesota, I go there and I get like these really big bags of Chicago style popcorn. So that's my recommendation. You might have already had it before, but just throwing it out there.
I've had it. I don't think they call it Chicago style. All I know is that like they just took a bunch of different kinds of popcorn and mixed them together.
Yeah, it's like a salty sweet combo. And a lot of people I've met are like really weirded out by it before they try it, but then they try it and it's really good.
Yeah, I was weirded out. It's like there's much weirder snacks out there.
oh yeah.
There is.
I mean,
Yeah,
Patrick
there's some-
Mahomes puts ketchup on his steak.
You know what? I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Really?
You know, if the guy doesn't like steak by itself, then however he's got to eat it, right?
Yeah, that's like like my dad is always like it's the steak is good enough, you don't need to put anything on it. But
Yeah.
I always really liked A1 steak sauce.
That's different though. That belongs
mean-
on steak if need be. Ketchup though, come on.
I don't know that I could do ketchup, but I understand the notion of like wanting a little something to like add some
Yeah.
flavor to the steak.
That's funny because my after the combine, me and a couple of my buddies, we went out to a steakhouse, right? And we were like gonna get a celebratory steak. And so I'm sitting there with like three other guys, and they all order like, you know, like nice like sirloins or like prime rib, all this stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I really don't feel like eating a steak right now. But, I asked the waiter, I'm like, can I get the meatloaf? and they just look at
Meatloaf is good.
yeah, I'm like, they look at me like, are you crazy, man? Like have a steak. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, no, meatloaf's like
Did you go in not Minneapolis, Indianapolis? Was this in Indy where you guys went and got steaks?
yeah.
Did you go to St. Elmo's?
Oh, it might have been. Is it kind of like an Italian place?
No, I've never been to St. Elmo's, but apparently like it's like a very historic place in Indianapolis that like combine players go to a lot, or like if teams play the Colts, they go there. And I believe it's called St. Elmo's. So when you said that you guys went out for steak, I was like, I wonder if it's there, because that seems like a place that people would go after the combine. I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking up images because it might
Jake, is that the right name? It's St. Elmo's, right?
No.
I've never
Oh,
heard of it. I was gonna ask you, is it Almos or Elmos?
Elmos. I don't know. It was either St. Elmo's or the one right next to it.
St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know why that
Indianapolis.
name bothers me so much. It just makes me think of Sesame Street. It's just, I don't know. It's annoying.
I hope I'm thinking of the right name.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
St.
definitely
Elmo.
it. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's where you guys went. I just know that's like a very historic place. Like if I ever go to Indianapolis, I'm going to have to stop by there because it's like it's pretty sacred in the football community. So,
Mm.
yeah. So, St. Elmo, that I guess is a recommendation to anyone listening who's going to be in Indianapolis. I've never been there, but I'm going to recommend it anyway. But
That might have been it, actually.
it might have been.
Like we were walking down the street and we were just like, all right, this looks good.
Yeah.
Well, hey, at least you didn't
uh,
order the salad at a steakhouse. They probably
Yeah.
would have thrown you out.
Yeah, they would have been mad.
Yeah. That would have been awkward if everyone else ordered the steak and you got a salad.
Yeah, I weighed in a little lighter than I thought I would too, so I was like, I gotta put on a couple pounds here.
There you go.
Well, you can't go wrong with a steak. Definitely I'm a steak fan. But Blaise, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. We know that this is like incredibly busy season for the draft prospects. We really appreciate it when guys come on the show. We really enjoyed talking to you, and we will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you too, and have a good one.
Nice to meet you too, man. You stay healthy and we'll be in touch, man.
That's the plan. Thanks.